Hey, welcome to the Overshare Pamphlet. My name is Rob, and I'm the host of this one-man show. Welcome back. Welcome back to the podcast. Today is a Friday. It's a Good Friday here in England, and it's a bank holiday. So I had no work today, nothing at all. Just packing up because I'm about to leave for Italy tomorrow morning, very early morning. So yeah, today has been a chill, relaxing day. Went for a run this morning as usual. Um, the weather here is like quite unpredictable, but it's not like super cold. But it's like it has moments. It's moody, you know. Mercury is in retrograde for real. Like it's getting there for the weather as well, you know. But um, so yeah, just chill day today. And I woke up with a mission, which was to listen to the new Beyonce album and just have some sort of like first impression, first reaction, I guess. I don't want to call it a review because I mean I haven't had time to like actually re-listen to it multiple times. Well, I did listen to it like I think 3 times now, the full album. But I'm ready to like get into it, I guess, with my first reaction. My first few thoughts. I'm sure it would change with time, and specifically with like the Renaissance albums. It seems like they require a bit more time for me to like get fully grasp, I guess, the sonics, the soundscapes, I guess, of the album, and just in general, like appreciate fully the project overall. Um, so yeah, I am very much ready to talk about that. But also today, I'm going to watch Godzilla X Kong, the new Monsterverse movie. I don't know how many people know about this, but like I don't know how popular the Monsterverse is. But in my book, it is one of the very entertaining, I guess, like franchises out there. Like it's very much fun, and always been a fan. I've always watched all of the movies in this like franchise in the cinema, and it's always a very fun experience. So I'm gonna go watch it. This is probably gonna be my like it's gonna be like a journey that I'm gonna face alone once again because no one seems to be interested in this. Like, well, all my friends have gone home now. Well, they've gone home or like somewhere else, I guess, um, for the holidays. So this is my like also my last day to be fair in England for a week or something. So I don't have many friends to go with, and plus. I tried to like bring a colleague with me, but then I was like, you know what, I don't want to bother with that because I don't want to talk about work in my free time. I want to just have like a free, like how to say, like a free experience in that sense, like just me and a movie, and it's gonna be a lot of fun to be fair. So and also it's my first time ever watching a movie in IMAX. Like I'm not talking about like also a normal IMAX, but like I'm talking about a 70 millimeters, like a huge screen here in London, the BFI. So yeah, that's gonna be first experience for me to like actually watch something in IMAX. So yeah, very excited also about that. Time to pop the cherry, like time to pop the fucking cherry. Um, I'm ready for that. But yeah, before we get into the two stories, of course, we are going to get into the usual songs of the week situation, right? So, of course, a lot of like the Beyonce songs, I'm gonna get into them like basically when I get into the story about the album itself. But I'm gonna start off with like songs that are they came out like this week or like the weekend or something that I really enjoyed, or songs that I just rediscovered or whatever. So first off, I want to talk about Isle It, which is like the stupidest name ever. As usual, it's a K-pop group, so they come up with some of the craziest name, honestly. But it's a new group that debuted literally on Monday, and they debuted with like an EP with 4 songs, and the EP is called Super Real Me. Um, Title track is something like, you know, that I was waiting for a long ass time. New Jeans has been a bit of a break, but I mean, I hope they come back soon. But the vibe that I would give to these girls is a bit of like New Jeans. Um, I saw some people saying like Eyes One, which I can kind of see, I guess. Luna, of course, because they are the mothers of the genre, like of the K-pop R&B video gamey sort of like situation as well. They birthed it, like, they gave birth to to a genre, to this like sort of sound. And yeah, um but yeah, Magnetic is probably one of the most infectious songs ever. Like ever since the teaser dropped, I was obsessed with it, was waiting for it. The chorus is just so incredibly catchy. So I'm very excited to like actually, have a very cute, fun, poppy song to listen to now. Um, so catchy, as I said. It's just like a simple love song about like, big magnetized with your lover. Like, the attraction you feel to this person is like a magnet. It's just fun little harmless lyrics, like very cute, a love song. Very very catchy. The choreo is super fun. Uh, it's just incredible. I love the concept. I love like the girls' visuals that they bring. The singing as well is just like the vocals that they serve is just like incredible. I like it. So yeah, that's one of the songs that I really really enjoyed from the album, from the EP. And I also want to throw in another one, which is my other favorite one. It's called Midnight Fiction, and it also has a bit of that New Jeans vibe. It's a bit more like guitar based in that sense. Magnetic is more like synthy, video gamey, like a synth in that sense. Like, um, so yeah, but Midnight Fiction is still in the same realm, I guess, but it's more guitar heavy in that sense, and it's just incredible. You're gonna see these songs. Like, y'all better watch out for these because they're really good. I'm gonna put them in the usual playlist that I have. So, wait, actually, this might be. Oh yeah, this might be the last. These are going to be the last songs that I'm gonna put into the. Well, we'll actually put them in March because like the episode is gonna come out in April. Well, I guess not. Yeah, they are gonna kick off the April playlist, so watch out for that. Um, so yeah, these 2 songs incredible, but the entire EP is just masterful. I would say like it's just 4 songs, but all of them are pretty catchy. It gives you a bit of an idea of like what the group is gonna sound like. It's just very cute. I personally don't care that they sound like a bit like New Jeans. People are saying also, oh, and it's completely different. Well, I don't know. I still think that the sound that they bring is very similar to New Jeans, but I couldn't care less. Like if it's a good product, it's a good product. At the end of the day, I couldn't care less. You know what I mean? That's my view personally. It's just a good catchy song and a good catchy, EP overall. So yeah, those are some of the 2 songs that I really enjoyed. Um, oh, and by the way, they're also under the same label as New Jeans, so that's even more reasonable in my opinion. Like they're not ripping it off from somewhere else. They're literally from the same like label, different sub labels, but they're still under hype. So that's what's up. That's what's up. Then the other song I want to talk about is "Keep It to Yourself" by Casey Musgraves. I know I talked about Casey Musgraves last week about her newer album, but this one is from um, I can't remember if it's the debut album actually, or well, it's one of the older albums, and it's from Saint Trailer Different Park. It's a 2013 album that she releases. Arguably, in my opinion, one of her best albums ever. Um, has incredible songs like "Merry Go Round," "Silver Lining," um, "Follow Your Arrow," like a lot of those songs. But this one, "Keep It to Yourself," I can't remember if I actually ever listened to it before or not. I don't know. I can't remember, but I recently just rediscovered it. And how did I discover this one? It's just so funny. I was watching one of Terry Joe, like Psychonic lives on TikTok, and when of course Keelan is like in his Terry Joe costume, he usually plays a lot of like country adjacent songs or like folk songs and all that stuff. And he's also pretty much a fan of Casey Musgraves. Like he plays a lot of Casey Musgraves songs, and it's just so funny to see. But he played this one, and I was like, hold the fuck up, because this song is so catchy and it's so like at the same time mellow. It's of course it's like full country song, and it just has a bit of like early Taylor Swift country type of vibe. I would say like it's very debut coded, I guess, or like fearless coded. Um, so yeah, like I was like immediately drawn to it again, and I yeah, like it's just an incredible song. It's about like of course this guy who's like not interested in. Well, he said he's not interested in her anymore, so she decides to like get away from him, but this guy has a tendency of like going back in circles, you know, like going back to her. And she literally tells him like, if you think that you still love me, just keep it to yourself. You know, she's over it. She doesn't want to be bothered anymore with this guy, but he keeps on coming back. And she said like, when you're drunk, when you're going home alone, and you're missing me like hell, just keep it to yourself. You know, don't bother me with it. You know, just keep it to yourself, man. So it's just a bit fuck you, I guess, to an ex or whatever it is. It's just like a catchy song. I love a good banjo, a good guitar. So love it. You know, it's one of those typical, I guess, like country songs. But yeah, that's another one basically that I really liked. Um, then just one, I want to put maybe with just one song from this artist that I literally discovered. Was it yesterday or today? Probably like yesterday night. It must have been, yeah, it must have been yesterday because saved at that time. Yeah. So this person, this dude, his name is Christian Curia, like Kuria, and he's an R&B artist. And I was just like, looking at different playlists from other people and trying to like find new R&B songs because I really, you know, wanted to expand my own personal playlist, R&B playlist. So yeah, I came across Christian Curia, and I was like, who the hell is this? And I listened to a couple of his songs, and it's just incredible. Super talented. I'm thinking specifically about his Borderline EP, 7 songs. He has a lot of good songs there, to be fair. Like Too Good, Losing You, and Bitter Pill are my favorite ones. But maybe I'll put about Bitter Pill. I like it. I'm so I'm so torn, but I'll put one of these songs. But it's just his vocals are really nice, very smooth, very R and B, and just like the production as well. It's a bit like mellow R and B, I guess, kind of vibe, just very vibey, and I love it so much. I love it so much. I've been very much impressed. He's in like all these 3 songs are in my R&B playlist, but I will put one of them, probably Bitter Pill or Losing You. I think one of the two. But well, even though like Too Good has a great chorus as well. I don't know. You guys will see when I put it in the playlist. So watch out for that. Watch out for that. But yeah, without any further ado, well, I mean, these are the songs. Of course, I'm not going to add more of them because I'm going to add a couple of songs from the Beyonce album as well. But I'll get into that, well, basically, now that I'm going to talk about it. But yeah, so the plan is this one. I'm going to talk about the album now. Then I'm going to probably take a big break because I'm going to then go and watch the movie. And then as soon as I'm done with the movie, I'm going to go back home, come back here, basically, and record my first reaction to the movie basically. So it's gonna be a very chaotic recording session, but I'm kind of living for it. It's kind of like fresh out of my little brain. So yeah, but first of all, we're gonna get into Cowboy Carter, the new album by Beyonce. It's Renaissance Act 2. Stay tuned. Hello. So, yeah. this is my, as I said, my first reaction, first impression of the new, long-awaited second installment of the Renaissance. I suppose it's like a trilogy. I think it's a trilogy, but this is a second installment. It's a Renaissance Act 2, but it's properly called Cowboy Carter, which I actually really love as a title. It's a great, catchy name for an album, you know. And Carter is, of course, is her surname, Beyonce's surname. But yeah, and as you can tell from the title, Cowboy Carter is a country, I guess, adjacent album. Let's just call it like that, because it's not a pure country album. I actually really, I'm really glad that I read um, the caption that she posted on Instagram when, I think it was when she announced the cover of the album and everything else, uh, because she really made it clear to y'all that this is not. She said like it's not a country album, but it's a Beyonce album, which it tells you basically that you shouldn't take it as a standard country album, but it's more like a country influenced Beyonce album, right? So it's like her take on a country album. But nonetheless, I would still say it's like a very country centric, I guess, album. Um, and it's at first glance a super long album. It's 27 tracks, but it's just like for a total runtime of like 1 hour and 18 minutes. So the thing about this album is that it's filled with a lot of like 50-second, 20-second songs, like interludes, however you want to call them, I guess. And then there's plenty of tracks that are like 4 minutes or like 5 minutes long. So yeah, she has, and then there's a couple of songs that are like 2 minutes long as well. But she has a full range of like different lengths in that sense. But um, yeah, so very daunting at first, I have to say. When I first opened the album, I was like, holy shit, how am I gonna like, make sense of any of this? How am I gonna like process the entire album, you know? But I guess that's also part of the experience in a way, because I mean, I hope none of y'all hate me for this, but I mean, I found it very daunting, if I have to be honest. If I have to be completely honest, um, I found it very hard to go like through the entire album, but I did. I managed to go through the album. I listened to it in total 3 times. This today basically because it's when it came out Friday, but um, yeah. So here are my general thoughts first. Maybe like so I'm not gonna try and go like in depth through every single track. I'm gonna still go through like the track list in a way, but I'm not gonna go through each and every song in that sense. I'm gonna of course talk about my favorites because I do have quite a few in that sense, like standouts in that sense. But before all that, I think I do want to like overall give my thoughts on the album first, and in general, like what are my thoughts about it, and how do I see it aging? How do I see it piquing my interest, like in the days to come, and like all that stuff. So I think what's important first to know that this is like clearly part of this like bigger project, of course, that she's doing with the Renaissance concept. First one was, of course, the Renaissance Act 1, which was all about house music, of course, and reclaiming, of course, the roots of the genre, which was, of course, the black perspective and the black community's influence on the genre, establishing it, and just the great contribution that the black community brought to this genre, and basically off of the same concept, I guess, Renaissance Act 2, Cowboy Carter, is also an attempt to reclaim the black roots of the genre, of the country genre, because it is first and foremost a black genre that was, of course, then appropriated. Not, I don't want to say appropriated necessarily, but popularized and taken to the pop level, I guess, from white people and from the white, artists in that sense. And it's quite funny to me because, like, nowadays, or like even in the early, like, 2000s, you would think of country as a predominantly white genre, and it's far from the truth because it's the origins of the genre is also, of course, rooted in the black community. So on a cultural and like I would say like motivational, I guess, aspect, this album is definitely needed, definitely um, appreciated a lot, and very sophisticated in that sense because it is an incredible effort, and I want to give my hat off to Beyonce for doing that because that's an incredible project in that sense. Very excited to see also where she goes next because she, if I remember correctly, as I said before, it is a three installment type of project. So she's gonna do probably a Renaissance Act 3 or something. Um, but today is all about Cowboy Carter. So the album comes off the great success that the the first single, basically the big single, had, which was Texas Hold'em. I think Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages came out together. If I'm not mistaken, they were released at the same time. But the single, the bigger single, the proper single, is Texas Hold'em, and it went number one in the Billboard 100 chart. So great success, and it went viral on TikTok as usual. So that was an incredible moment. I like the song; it's very catchy, and it's a fun track to listen to. I would say definitely not my favorite Beyonce track, of course, but I appreciate it for what it is. You know, like it's a good catchy country song. Um, so period. So after, of course, she announced the album, came out pretty quickly. No one, I didn't personally didn't know that she was like already planning on releasing a second installment so soon. Because she was still touring, I think, like a few months ago with the Renaissance Act One album. So yeah, but that was a very much needed surprise. I've been talking about this project for quite a while in my episodes as well, if you've been listening. But this is properly, I guess, kicking off this new like 2024 trend of country album. We're gonna have, as I said, like um, a Post Malone country album, um, and also Casey Musgraves released another country album recently. But this to me is like the proper, you know, um, mood setter for 2024, and this comes off also like the success that recently so many white male artists have been having in terms of the country genre, and also in general in pop because they've been climbing the charts like crazy. So I think it's overall like also a response to that. She wanted to also like bring her own perspective to this trend overall. So that's her project, her take on the country genre, and it's definitely a breath of fresh air because as much as like uh, Renaissance Act One was also quite refreshing, I would say that still Renaissance is still in a way a comfortable category for Beyonce. Like it is house music, but she's been um, she hasn't been to like too far away from that genre. So I don't think it was. Well, I do think it was like a very fresh concept, of course, and a very fresh take on the house genre. And also, of course, it took me a lot of time for for that album as well to be digested, and I really really like it. I loved Renaissance Part One. Um, but I said this is like even a step further. Like it's a completely new, um, take on Beyonce's music. So I was very excited also for this bold choice, I would say. So also that is very commendable, I would say. But yeah, the album is like quite long, and my first few critiques that I wanna like bring forward are basically relating to the track list itself. I would say first of all, actually, when I say that I'm not a huge interlude fan, I'm not really like I've never properly understood like the function of an interlude. Sometimes I do like understand it. For example, with the Ariana Grande album, she used it as a cut-off moment between the first two tracks and then the rest of the album. Sometimes when it's not like that, I get it. But overall, I've never been a fan of interludes. I never really liked interludes on any album, to be quite frank. I don't really see them as a necessary thing. Even, for example, the Lana Del Rey album, A Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard, I never really like I never reach out for interludes. I guess they're simply put there for like an artistic purpose. I don't know, but I never really truly get it to be fair, and I find it quite annoying because it disrupts the flow, in my opinion, of the album. And she has used so many in this fucking album. Like I'm quite annoyed by it almost. Don't come at me. Don't. Please don't cancel me. But I am just saying my first thoughts. First reaction to the album. So yeah, there's plenty of like 50-second songs, or 20-second songs. Sometimes they're spoken words. Sometimes they're just like vocals, not necessarily like lyrics or just instrumental. And I'm like, either give me the full song or like turn this into like a full song, or just don't give it to me. And if it's like a spoken interlude, whatever. One could be bothered. Like I could tolerate one. I could tolerate two maybe of these, but there's just too many. Like I don't care. I don't care. And on the other hand, I think some of the tracks are dragging on for too long. So like you have 5 minute songs, for example, the intro, American Requiem, incredible lyrics in that sense. Go look them up on Genius, but it's like very like a very emancipating song in a way. Like it's a very much like a hymn and all that stuff. Incredible, but I think it's just too long. It's like 5 minutes 25, and not necessarily like because there are plenty of songs that are 5 minutes long or even longer, but it don't feel like they're dragging, right? But I felt like so many of these tracks drag a bit too long. So that's one of them, for example. And even some of my favorite ones, I think they do drag a bit too long, including at times Yeah Yeah, but I'll get into that. And it's Two Hands to Heaven. It's too long. Like I simply want to skip it. Personally, when I get to a certain point, I'm like, okay, I'm getting bored. Kind of want to skip it. But that's just me. Just my first reaction. I do need more time to like sit with them and see if like I can, understand them a bit better. But yeah. So that's my second point, I guess. Some of the songs are too long. Um, and my third point that I want to bring in terms of criticisms is um, the fact that there's plenty of like slow tempo or like mid tempo songs, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I truly think that with a project this long, you would need more um, high tempo songs. Like there are a couple of them, of course, but I don't know. I think I could have used a couple of more high tempo songs and maybe reduced a bit, like some of the mid tempo, slow tempo songs. There's so many of them, and there's also partially why I need more time with them, because just like with an album chock full of basically slow tempo songs, it's not that I get bored, but like they start to like blend in together, and they not. I don't want to say they all sound the same, but I do need more time to sit with each one of them separately. You know what I mean? To fully appreciate them, I guess. Not to say that some of them didn't catch my eye, because some of them did impress me a lot, but that's one of my takes. But those would be my main critiques of the album overall. Uh, but as I said, like I really understand the importance of the album, and I really appreciate it for that. That's why I'm also doing a review necessarily, because like if I wasn't 100% passionate about it, I wouldn't do it. And I am very passionate about it, even though I have some reservations, of course. But as a first listen, but I'm very much aware of like the importance of this album and how big the task that it's like trying to you know um, take in that sense is. So yeah, so that, as I said already, like first track, American Requiem, I think it's an incredible track, but it's just like too long. I think it gets too dragged on and whatever. So that we're gonna skip over that. That's the intro. But then second song is Blackbird. That's a cover. When I first heard it, I was like, hold on, I've listened to the song before, and it is in fact a cover of the Beatles song Blackbird, of course, and such a nice track. I actually really liked it. Her cover is really good, of course. She's incredibly talented, of course, vocally, and just Blackbird always felt like a bit of a country song as well to me. So I'm glad that she decided to do that. And there was, of course, a big reason why she decided to put it on this album because Blackbird was written in 1968. Um, so it was like the fight for the civil rights in America. Very important political time for the black community, especially. And the Beatles wrote it back in the days. I think it was Paul McCartney actually wrote it, um, specifically with that message in mind to like give hope and specifically to young black women that things might change, things could change, to be positive, and just give. It's just like a very hopeful song in that sense. So her taking the song, covering it, and putting it on this album is just like a very much like a full circle moment, an incredibly smart decision, I would say, and it also gives the song a new perspective. Of course, it gives it, of course, that things have changed. Not necessarily like change has not like been completed, of course, like it's still a process that is still going on, of course, but change for the better in that sense has happened overall, I would say. And it is a sign of, you know, like Beyonce singing this song is definitely a sign of like young women or like black women specifically not being silenced anymore, having, you know, a voice and not hiding anymore. So that's a great, I would say, great message, great symbolic message as well of putting the song here. And she just executed so well. So I'm very happy with this one, honestly. So 100%. Now we have, of course, 16 Carriages. Never truly like was one of my favorites. Between the two, of course, I like Texas when the two singles were put out. I liked Texas Hold'em much more. But 16 Carriages is cute. Um, but here's the thing. I recommend it's a slow tempo. Blackbird is a slow tempo song, mid tempo maybe. 16 Carriages is a slow tempo song. So already like, you know, I wanted something like that could punch me in the face as soon as you start the album. But like, it's fine to do like a slow tempo intro and a second track maybe being a bit slower, but I would have wanted a higher tempo track immediately, you know? Third track or something as well. But yeah, that's fine. 16 Carriages is not too bad. Then we have Protector, also very like, you know, cute song. Still on the mid tempo, I would say. And same thing, you know, as the tracks before. So yeah, but I would say between these four tracks at the beginning, I like I like Blackbird the most. It's really good. And then we get into My Rose, which is like some sort of interlude. It's like 50 seconds long. It's mostly her vocals, I would say, and very gorgeous execution. But I don't think I'm gonna reach out to listen to it again because it's just like 50 seconds, and I kind of don't care about it, I guess. Oh, I don't want to sound mean because I'm not being mean, but I'm just like saying the truth. Too many fucking interludes, you know. So that's the first one we have of interludes, and then we get into a second, I guess, one right after it, another 50-second song, Smoke Our Willie Nelson. It was cute, don't mind it, but again, wouldn't listen to it. Then we get into the big one, Texas Hold'em. Great, picking up the pace a bit more. Um, like as I said, like already, I liked the song. Not my favorite Beyonce track, of course, but it's an incredible track nonetheless. So period. And then this, I'm so glad. Actually, I really like this track sequence here. It goes into probably one of my favorite tracks ever on the album. It's called Bodyguard by, of course, only Beyonce. No collaborators here. But here's the thing. Like, this song is incredible. Like, it's classic country song, very catchy. A bit of like the high tempo, I guess, here. Well, I wouldn't say it's like super high tempo. It's like mid high tempo, maybe. Let's just say that. But Bodyguard, incredibly catchy, so good. And people have been saying, and I've noticed it as well, that it may have been written by Taylor Swift. There's some Taylor Swiftness to this song. And there's also some backing vocals that sound like Taylor. Now, hear me out. It could be her. It could actually be her. Because if you listen to also the lyrics, they are very much like you know, Taylor Swift Speak Now almost coded in that sense. And it sounds a bit like the type of vibe is like very similar to like I Can See You in that sense. The song by Taylor Swift, of course. But that's the vibe. And Beyonce does such a good job on this track. And I really hope it is because I would be rejoicing. You know, I would be so happy about it because she collaborated with a lot of like important like country artists and like a lot of people on this album. And I would be very happy if like Taylor was credited as if it is in fact like a Taylor Swift written song, and it's just one of my favorites. It's just so catchy, um, beautiful harmonies, incredible vocal performance by Beyonce. The lyrics are lyricking. Let me be your bodyguard. You know, like she wants to be um, the protector of her lover, right? So incredible, incredible. And then here's where the track list is like eating. We have Dolly P interlude, 22 seconds. Again, what the fuck? But also it's literally Dolly Parton saying, "Hey, honeybee, this is Dolly P," and all that shit, and it gets straight into Jolene. So it is a cover done by Beyonce of the famous Dolly Parton song Jolene. But contrary to like Blackbird, this is a different take on the Jolene song. It's like still the same production, like similar production, still same melodies and everything, but the lyrics are slightly changed. And here Beyonce is literally um, threatening Jolene to not come near her man, or she'll get these hands. She'll catch these hands. She'll get a gun in her, like, her shotgun, you know. But it is a different vibe from the original Jolene. Jolene, the original one, Dolly Parton is like was literally begging this girl not to take her man. She was sort of like passively saying like, please don't come along just because you can, and don't Here Beyonce's like saying, bitch, don't come, like don't take my man, or I'll fuck your life up. Don't even try to come near my man, or I'll eat you up. So incredible vibe. I like to switch up a bit. It's like a nice little different take on it. Love this so much. So that's a good track. I'm liking the covers, honestly. The good cover choices, And then, as I'm saying, like this track sequence is really really good. It gets into Daughter. Daughter is a slow tempo song, but it's just like very beautiful song, and it is a better reflection about her parents, on her parents and all that stuff. And I just like the instrumental here. It's like a very repetitive, like a plucky string, I guess, in that sense, like a guitar string. And if I'm correct, there's also some violins in it. Very beautiful track. Really, really enjoy it. I want to delve a bit more into the lyrical content when I can. Of course, I'll try and look into the lyrics a bit more. But I really like this one. Like, this is one of the slow tempo songs that I really, really like on this album. And it's good when it's like, paced after these tracks. Bodyguard is like a bit more high tempo. Jolene is of course a bit more high tempo as well. Texas Hold'em, incredible track. So yeah. Then we get into Spaghetti, which is like a 2 minute track, 2 minute 30 track. It's interesting. I would say it's interesting. It's a bit more on the hip hop influence here, which is an interesting take. I like it. Not one of my favorites, but it's very good. Um, then I have right after this Alligator Tears, which, to be quite frank, I can't, like, I listened to the album 3 times, and for example, now looking at the track list, I can already remember what it sounds like. So, and if I can remember correctly, like, it is more of the on the slow tempo songs. I can't remember what it sounds like, to be quite frank, and not to say that it's forgettable, but I just have to like revisit it, I guess. So that's that. That interlude Smoke Hour number 2. Well, Smoke Hour 2 or second, I don't know how you want to call it, but again, don't care about the interludes. Then Just for Fun is it's an okay track, I would say. Not too fussy about it. It's a collaboration with Willie Jones. Um, but it's a cute track, I would say. Still not too, like, still mid tempo, so it's cute. Then we get into 2 incredible collaborations. Two Most Wanted, which is a collaboration between Beyonce and Miley Cyrus. Like, what the hell? Never thought of that. But yeah, that's one of the randomest collabs ever, because I don't think I ever would have imagined Beyonce and Miley Cyrus collaborating, honestly. But it somehow works. It's still on the slow tempo, mid tempo type of tracks, but it works. Like, I think what's very interesting about the song is the blend of the vocals between them, between Beyonce and Miley Cyrus. Um, Surprisingly, they work so well together, and they both have incredible moments on the tracks. On the track, sorry. Just beautiful. I like the collaborative effort here, and it's just they sound super well together. And country is Miley's, I guess, not also natural element. Sometimes it is a good track. And to be fair, Two Most Wanted could have been on like a Miley Cyrus country album as well. It sounds like very much a comfortable track for her as well. So really like this one, surprisingly. Now the one after it is Levi's Jeans with Post Malone. So as I was saying, Post Malone is also about to gear up for a country album. So I'm curious to see if he's gonna have a track with Beyonce on his own album, but we'll see. But at first, when I first heard the track, I was like, don't really care about it. Second time I listened, I was like, it's kind of getting better. And third listen, I was like, oh, actually, I think I like this this song. It is more on the mellow side as well. It's a nice little vibe though, and surprisingly, I in only three listens, I've grown to like how Post Malone sounds on a country song. So this, if anything, makes me very excited for his album as well. And I don't know, I think I liked it. I think it was a nice collaboration. I like the whenever there's like a reference to like clothing item or whatever, I just love it for whatever reason. Like whenever they talk about any sort of like specific item of clothing, then it's like turned into a song. I'm just like a sucker for it. So, period. Watch me buying a pair of Levi's jeans and put a song, slap a song, this song to it. But yeah, that's a good song. Then it gets to I don't like it gets to one of my favorite tracks also in the album, which I'm so fucking annoyed. It's like so short. It's like 1 minute 40 seconds. It's called Flamenco, and it is exactly what you think it is about. I mean, the sound is basically a flamenco song. Incredible. If I have to say what's my favorite part of the song, it would be basically the vocal performance on the track. It's just incredible. Like I think this is probably the strongest. Well, she's incredible anyways, but this is the strongest vocal performance she has on the album. Like flamenco is just that fucking good. Please listen to this one as well. You won't be disappointed. It's just 1 minute 40, so you don't have much time to waste to this one. But yeah, and then we get into another interlude. Don't care about it. It's a setup for the next song. It's like saying like the next track is going to be a blend of genres and all that shit. I was like, I don't care. Give me the song. Give me the fucking song. And it is another one of my favorite ones. And it's Ya Ya. So that's, yeah, track number 20 is Ya Ya. Literally Y-A-Y-A. Ya Ya. Yeah. Ariana said, what? But this track is crazy, man. It's insane. It's when I first heard it, I was like, holy shit, this gives me musical vibes. Like I immediately thought of The Greatest Showman for whatever reason, but it gives me sort of that Greatest Show type of vibe, you know? Like if you know the song The Greatest Show, that kind of reminds me of this song as well. Or like in general the movie, like the songs that were on the movie. It's just like a very impactful theatrical type of song. And there's a blend of like country and rock. It has some like rock elements to it. It's just crazy. Crazy good. I just cannot say anything bad about it. The only thing I would say, like as I was saying before, sometimes I feel like when I listen to it, I feel like it drags on for a bit too long. But it's like so high tempo. This is what we wanted. Super high tempo, very impactful, very energetic, and just a fun track to listen to. She is constantly like has this conversational like phrases that she puts into this track. She just refers to the girls in general, saying like just snap your fingers, drop it down, twerk it, bitch. Yeah, I'm doing all that, all the above to the song. Of course I am, because it is that good. But yeah, incredible. Then we get to Oh Louisiana, another sort of like interlude, I guess, 50 seconds long. Skip it. And then we get to Desert Eagle. I think, oh yeah, Desert Eagle, I do remember it. It's like 1 minute song. I like the instrumental, very interesting. I think there was a lot of potential to the song, but yeah, it's just, I don't think it's like necessarily well executed, I guess. Riverdance, I wish I loved this track. Maybe I will grow to love it, but I think it just like keeps on building and never gets to the point where it should get. Like it keeps on promising a build up to like to something else, but just never goes there. And I'm like, okay, whatever, bored. Then Two Hands to Heaven, cute track, but it's just like too long. I think it drags on for too long. It's 5 minutes, 41 seconds, too long. But then I'm glad because we finished off with like two of my most favorite tracks on the album. Tyrant, incredible track. It's a mix of country and trap slash hip hop, I guess. It's just so good, and I would shake my ass to the song in a club. It has this like crazy ass violin and a great synthy bass, basically. Um, it's just like a mixture of hip hop and country. Incredible mash, but it works. It's so good. Next one is a Sweet Honey Buckin, and it's basically like a three-part song. Like it's three songs combined into one actually. And this reminds me the most of Renaissance in general. Like it gives me a bit of like the original Renaissance vibes. It is This one is still like country of course, but it's the switch up in the song that I really enjoy a lot. Sweet and Buckin are both, I guess, on this like country mashed with hip hop kind of spectrum, while Honey is a bit more like mellow and it's like slapped right in the middle between the two songs, and it just works wonders. It's just an incredible blend of tracks, very exciting, you know, and bold move. I just really liked it. So good. And then we end with Amen, which is 2 minutes 25. Honestly, cannot really say much about this track. It was okay. Wasn't too captivating in my opinion. It wasn't necessarily a great closer maybe to the album, but it was cute. She was cute nevertheless. But yeah, and that's the 27th song. So this was overall the entire album. I sort of spat through it. Like I was like literally going very fast with it, but like literally 27 songs. I had to like go through it, and these are only my first initial thoughts, as I said so many times. But yeah, overall the project I would say like it's a well, after three listens I would say like it's an okay album. It's a good album. Some of the songs I like them a lot, but overall I would say like there are too many filler tracks. This could have done without all these interludes, or like some of the songs could have been like cut short a bit, you know. I don't know, a bit more reworking on that, and you know, and some of the 50-second tracks I really would have loved to see them fully fleshed out, you know, which is so frustrating. But I don't know, maybe it's like a artistic choice that I'm not fully understanding at the moment. I don't know, I'm not sure, but those are my only critiques of the album. But overall, the soundscape is really good. It's very consistent, I would say. Oddly enough, even though she plays with a lot of genre, it's still very consistent in terms of soundscapes. I like it. It's more of like on the mid tempo overall, like slow tempo, mid tempos. There are a couple of like high tempo tracks, but yes, and that could turn out to be a great thing. I think overall, when it ages, I could like maybe find myself, uh, you know, falling in love with different tracks as time goes by. So that would only be a test for time, you know. But overall, as I said, I enjoyed it a lot. Was a lot of fun, and yeah, could have used with some trimming, some like polishing, some change up. It's a good album, I would say. I would definitely say like try and give it a go. Maybe instead of like full like, you know, following through an entire track list, put it on shuffle, see what happens, because it is a lot of fun in certain moments. So yeah, I hope this, however, like does give leeway to other black artists to get into country music, because they can and they should be given more space, and you know, they can be successful as well, as much as like so many white artists who have like basically saturated the genre now. So um on that end, I'm like very proud of Beyonce. So I'm gonna support the album, of course, because specifically also because of that reason. And yeah, just, you know, stream it, give it a listen. You might find some tracks that you really enjoy. So just give it a go. Don't be afraid of like exploring different things, you know? And yeah, now I'm gonna take a break and then I'll go watch the movie. And when I'm back home from this whole experience, which is in South Bank, I have to like take a bus. Um, it's gonna be a fun little thing. But when I'm back, I'll share my thoughts on the movie instead. So Godzilla X Kong, sort of like a review or first reaction as well, will be right after this. See you in a bit. Catch you later. Bye. Hello, or should I say good evening, because I just came back from the cinema, as I said. I'm just literally, I just like walked into the apartment like 5 minutes ago. So I'm back. I'm back fresh out of the experience. Just so I went to the BFI in South Bank in London. As I said, like it's one of the only places that has 17 millimeter IMAX, so one of the biggest one. Um, and it was, as I said, like also my first ever IMAX experience. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the IMAX. What the hell? That's insane. Like that's an incredible experience. It's just like what I've noticed basically is that like it's made like it's so well done that you just literally like if you look at a screen, your entire vision is basically occupied by the screen with like in full. Like you know how you go to the cinema and you have like you can still see the margins and everything else. This is so different. Like you just look at the screen and it's just like it encompasses the entire your entire vision basically. So like it's just so beautiful. So yeah, that definitely is a great experience. Um, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. I think it's something that I would pay for specific movies, of course. I think this one was a good example of a movie that you should probably watch in IMAX. I bet Avatar must have been an incredible experience. So I'm so jealous I didn't go for that one. Oh, so annoying. And yeah, honestly, even Dune must have been crazy good on IMAX. So yeah, it's just for very specific like blockbustery, I guess, movies. So yeah, I would say that I would like go to normal cinemas just for like the usual run of the mill movies. Like I wouldn't go for they publicized like Civil War with the same actress who played Mary Jane and Spider Man. I don't know I don't know her name. I mean she hasn't done that many movies, but um and I was like, are you seriously like planning to do this movie? I mean it's very like action based, I guess, but it's just like military and all that stuff like on IMAX. I was like, you know what? I'm good with that. I don't want to partake in that experience, but I would, for example, watch the next Planet of the Apes. What was it? Planet of the Kingdom of the Apes? No, Kingdom of the Planet. These movies have crazy ass titles, but I think it's Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Whatever. I don't know like that much about the franchise itself, but the ad played at the cinema and it looked quite interesting. I would say something that I will actually want to watch, and it might be worth also watching on IMAX. Who knows? But yeah. But enough of that. Like actually, before I do that, I want to rant about how much I paid for for just simply medium-sized basically a medium-sized portion of popcorns. So that was £10, including a drink, of course. But even then, like medium drink and a medium popcorn is just like what the fuck? Like £10 for that? Are you kidding me? Like popcorns are like they're basically corn that it's like toasted and that's like it should be cheap stuff. You know what I mean? But it's just like insane. Like they charge you so much for that. I don't know. I think next time. I mean, I usually do that anyways, but I wanted to like have a full experience of the BFI, so I went and tried the snacks there. Was it worth the price for the snacks? Hell no. Next time I'll definitely bring my own snacks as I usually do. So because it's cheaper and to be fair, like the popcorns are just not that great anyways. So I'd rather buy like a bag of popcorns from the store, which is like literally £1, and have a blast. Have a blast. But yeah, that was the other thing. But yeah, overall, so yeah, I went to watch. What movie did I watch? I watched the Godzilla X Kong movie, which is the newest installment of the Monsterverse franchise. Now, as I said, like also in my intro, I think it was. I'm not entirely sure how many people know about this. My cinema, like my IMAX theater, was completely full, which is great, and there were like hardcore fans like me, but also families and you know an interesting crowd. I mean, I'm glad that there were so many people. But to be fair, it was opening day actually. It was opening day. It was the Friday here in London when the movie first started showing. So yeah, so pleased about that. But I'm not really sure how popular the franchise is in terms of like general audience. It's definitely not at levels of like Marvel or whatever. I wonder what's gonna happen in terms of box office. I personally think it's not gonna is in my tank because just because like I think the general like it's we're still riding off of the Dune basically high wave in that sense, and people are still interested very much in talking about that movie. And oddly enough, it's from the same studio, so I don't know why it would cannibalize each other like that. And in the meantime, there's also the new Ghostbusters movie, which is not doing that well either, but I don't know. And then there's going to be another. Well, I wonder if they're like also those two. Well, but to be fair, yeah, I think the target audience is for those two for Ghostbusters and Godzilla X Kong. They're very much similar in terms of like they're also family friendly in a way. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen there. But yeah, I'm not really sure if it was the right decision to like release it now. It could have kicked off the summer season in May, to be fair, but I also guess like it was gonna be very close to the new Kingdom of the Planet of the yeah of the Planet of the Apes movie, which is like could be drawing inferences because Kong is a huge gorilla basically, but that's the only inference I could find. But anyways, the MonsterVerse, yes, it's a basically it's a so basically it's a Toho and Legendary, so they came together and under I think it first started off with Universal, but then it got sold to Warner Bros. I think this franchise. But anyways, it's a franchise that was well the brand itself, the Godzilla brand is a Japanese brand, Toho, right? But and they're still making Japanese movies just with Toho about Godzilla, i.e. Godzilla minus one that came out recently, but that's not part of the MonsterVerse. The MonsterVerse is simply like it's the American version, I guess, of the Godzilla universe. Let's just call it like that. Godzilla, what is Godzilla? If you guys don't know, Godzilla is a huge lizard. And actually, I always find that one of the reasons I find it so interesting, the origin behind the monsters idea, is specifically because why I got like into the franchise itself. I mean, Godzilla is technically when it was first conceived by its creator in Japan, it was sort of like a response to the nuclear bombs that were set off after the World War II, of course. So yeah, why is that? Basically, Godzilla is a monster that feeds off of radiation, and supposedly the concept of how the monster was like first thought of was basically that he represented the destruction made by humans, created by humans. It was an incarnation basically of man-made destruction, right? In the MonsterVerse, in the American franchise, the way they spin it spin it around, of course, because they couldn't like do it that politically with America and all that stuff. They said basically that this monster is basically a protector. Well, it's always been around forever since the Earth was created, basically. But we, the humans, brought it back to like we awoke this monster after testings, like bomb. Well, so it still has like that bomb testing basically situation, but the original one was actual a real historical event. Here is just like fictional, the U.S. Testing bombs and awakening this monster. But anyways, in this fictional world, basically there's plenty of monsters roaming around the earth, and this is this is the latest movie, but the first movie of the franchise came with. Well, it came in 2014, I think it was the first one. Godzilla 2014. That's where we got introduced to the whole concept, and that was incredible. The movie is still one of my favorite ones, one of out of the franchise. But yeah, and then we got a Kong movie. Kong is like a giant ape that lived in a remote island and couldn't, of course, connect to the earth, but he's always been living there. And then we got a Godzilla King of the Monsters movie, which was, I think, what was it? I think it must have been 2018 or something, because I went to watch it when I first moved to uni in the UK. Or maybe 2019, something like that. But I watched it in theaters, even that one. All of them, to be fair. Another great experience. Then it was Godzilla vs. Kong, which came out during the pandemic, I think it was. So 2021 or 22, something like that. That one, I could not watch it in theaters. Because it was still, well, whatever, pandemic. I decided not to go, basically. But that was when we first had the encounter between the two monsters, right? So, yeah. After that movie, basically, the two monsters, those two are supposed to be like the two good guys, I guess, of the universe. And they protect the Earth from other catastrophic destruction created by other monsters, right? So to keep the balance, and there's a lot of like talk about, the how do you call it, like the chain? I guess like they're described as apex predators, these two, right? And they are the only ones that actually care about a balanced ecosystem. Specifically, Kong, he's supposed to be one of the protectors of the humans. Godzilla is more like a neutral presence in the movies because he's mostly interested in the balance, as I said, but that doesn't mean that he will protect the humans. You know what I mean? Sometimes the humans actually create more issues than anything else, like creating giant robots and all shit like that that are meant to, like, bring them back to control, situation on Earth or whatever. But he's not up with that. Like, he's not gonna be I think for him. So he does attack humans every now and then. He doesn't really care about them in that sense, right? His main goal is to keep everything in balance. While Kong, I guess he also cares about his balance, but he also cares about protecting the humans, right? But I guess like most of the times their interests align because they're both trying to keep these monsters away from destroying the entire world, basically, right? This new installment we follow. Now, there's also a new concept that they introduced in the last movie, I think it was, which is the Hollow Earth, which is basically a sort of like an upside down world, like Stranger Things, but it's like the core of the Earth as well. And it's like an inner Earth, but that still looks like Earth, oddly enough, but it's like only inhabited by monsters. That's their origin place, basically, and that's how they then came up to the surface and all that stuff. And so Kong, after the latest movie, he moved permanently to the Hollow Earth, while Godzilla became the king of the monsters and is basically the overseer of the surface Earth, right? So in this movie, it's a very, I want to preface this by saying like this movie is very nonsensical, of course, because it's like a fictional world, nothing too serious. So yeah, don't have any expectations of like going into like a sophisticated movie. It's just like a nonsensical movie, right? It's just for the action, for the splashy VFX, and the action and all that stuff. So you just like see huge animals, like giant animals and monsters like fighting each other and destroying Earth. That's just the fun of it. It's like a huge ride, and you just hop on it for the experience, basically. But in this movie, they're facing off a hidden threat that was sealed off by Godzilla himself ages and ages ago. But um, this basically enemy, this nemesis, is a huge, also a huge ape that was sealed off precisely because he wanted to conquer the surface, right? And so Kong, for the entirety of his like whole life, I guess, he thought he was the only one left, but then he finds out basically that there is still like a tribe of apes, giant apes that are unfortunately all bad people. Basically, they're all baddies. They're all evil. Well, they're evil because they're controlled by this like Scar King, which is like their boss, whatever. Um, and so basically, yeah, very conveniently this threat manages to like be unleashed, and he goes out on rampage, wants to get on the surface world, but it's up to Godzilla and Kong to stop them, right? So yeah, that's basically a very simple plot, very easy plot to follow. You just follow the humans as well. Humans are in these movies like technically they're supposed to be the means to showcase the size and it is also like the damages done by these monsters, right? But they do have like a very interesting plot lines, I guess, also in this movie. One of the main characters, she's a very young child, basically, who is from this interesting tribe of people, basically, but she was displaced, and she thought also as well that she was the last one of her kind, and she's deaf. I think she's deaf, but she can communicate basically with Kong through sign language, which is like very interesting. But yeah, and she's basically one of the main protagonists. She's trying to find also her tribe, and she does find it in this movie. And she has there's a prophecy about her as well that she's supposed to fulfill in this movie. I'm not going to say what precisely, but it's all connected. And there's this organization called Monarch that is basically, I think it's government funded or something, or like it's government related, that it's supposed to keep these titans, they call them titans, right? These huge monsters in check, right? So we follow them, like we follow Monarch and this little girl as the human side, I guess. And then the monsters are, of course, also the main protagonists in a way. But yeah, it's just a very splashy movie. I would say out of all the films in the franchise, this might be one of my least favorite actually, if I'm to be completely honest. I mean, it looked incredible, crazy VFX. But I think the plot itself was just I think the length of the movie as well was like very short in a way, and the fight scenes are not as memorable as the previous movies. I really enjoy. I think my two favorite ones were the 2014 Godzilla movie because that was like so. There was like a sense of like eeriness and like you could really tell how destructive. Like you could feel the fear in humans and all that stuff. Now it has become more like oh well, they're destroying everything. Cool. And it's just like very lighthearted now. But it used to be like more. There was much more gravitas in the movies, and it was interesting also because like at first these monsters were seen more like as conspiracies or like, you know, whatever, but now they're like coexisting, I guess, which is like whatever. But I just think I also like the the recent two movies, Godzilla vs Kong and this one, have more of a silly tone to them, which is still like enjoyable in a way. Like it's a very, I would still say like go and watch this movie because it's like a fun time, very lighthearted movie, a good way of escaping reality in a way. But don't expect any serious tone in the movie, like super serious. Of course, there's destruction and all that stuff, but the stakes are, they definitely feel, even though they're big, they definitely feel less as important as the other movies. And my favorite one, I think, overall is the Godzilla King of the Monsters movie. That one was so well realized, in my opinion. There was a good balance of monsters and human stories and you know, two different organizations, which one was more, of course, always, but the other one is like a competing one that wants to like control these titans to rule the world. Basically, it was like a very interesting. There was also so basically competing teams in between the humans. So that was also a cool side, and plus, like I don't know, I still stand by the fact that the original monsters created by Toho that were originally used in the very old movies of Godzilla, like back in 1960s or whatever, the concept of those are incredible. I like them so much. The newer ones, they're creating out of nowhere for some of these movies, um, are not as good. But so in previous movies, they've used, so for example, Kong and Godzilla, they are from the original Toho universe, and they also used a couple of them in King of the Monsters, which is also partly why I liked it so much. But yeah, other like in this installment, for example, apart from Godzilla and Kong, all the other basically monsters are freshly conceived, I guess, in a way. Um, and I like the design, for example, of the main villain here, the main like the evil ape. Let's just call him that, Scar King. That was an interesting one, but overall, I think it was just like basically creating a copy of the two main characters, which are Godzilla and Kong, and just creating their evil versions, and just to have them fight and brawl for no reason, right? Um, but yeah, I overall think like some of the fight scenes were actually incredible, very much fun. The last one felt a bit underwhelming in my opinion. It was too short, maybe because the movie is too short. I think overall, but I really liked. I have to say, I really liked here the human story again. I really like Gia. She's the little girl, but she's so so good, and I like her story so much. So that was a good thing. But overall, it's just like a very lighthearted movie. I would say, just very fun, action based. You want to see giant monsters fight and brawl. That's all you're gonna get. It's like a very like, imagine WWE, but instead it's like huge monsters fighting in the real world, destroying cities and all that stuff. In this movie, they destroyed Rome so much, and I felt like horrified because they were destroying very old like buildings, like ancient buildings. So yeah, but it's a feast for the eyes. That's what I would say. Like if you want something like easy to watch, and a form of escapism and a just a very lighthearted movie, I would just like go for this one. To be fair, it's a very fun one. You don't need to know the lore behind it as well for this one. I think you just like go in, and they give you all the information you need basically. So yeah, that's basically what I think of the movie overall. Would I watch it again? Maybe if they do announce another movie, I would watch it in preparation for that one again. But the only ones that are for, like completely, I go back to very often are, as I said, like Godzilla 2014 and King of the Monsters. Those two are like, to me, are really nice. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And BFI IMAX, as I said, great experience. Would watch it again in IMAX. Any other movie, I would watch them again in IMAX. The ones that are worth it, I would say. The ones that are like, blockbustery and with a lot of like VFX and all that stuff. But yeah, just go for it if you want something lighthearted, as I said. And apart from that, I hope you guys have a nice week. If you guys are having holidays now, Easter holidays or whatever, just enjoy your holidays. I'm gonna be on holiday now, holiday mode. As soon as I'm done with this, I'm gonna, upload it, schedule it, and then I'm gonna be off. Like tomorrow, I have to wake up tomorrow very early, like super early tomorrow in the morning to catch my flight. So I better wrap it up, and just start packing up as well. So this is pretty much it for this episode. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one if it comes. I don't know. I don't know if I'll have time to like record one for next Monday, because I'll be coming back literally on Sunday. But you will hear back from me soon. So yeah, bye.